Hi, sluts.
Welcome to Hot
Hello.
Cinema Sluts. We're here to review the scariest and sluttiest horror action. Turn it over to Christy. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm excited to talk about horror movies. I love horror movies. I have not caught up with the new ones in the last decade, probably. So I'm behind. But anyway, yeah, I'm excited to talk about it. Let's do it. Thomas,
Hi,
how are
sluts. Hi,
you?
friends. I'm good. Yeah, my horror movie knowledge is not relevant or modern, also. But
Yeah.
I love me a good horror movie. I'm excited about talking about them, about something different.
Yeah.
I would say my horror movie knowledge also trends more towards 80's and 90's versus the last 20 years. Um, I kind of felt like the current trend for horror movies, it's definitely shifted because I remember, like, do you guys remember going to Blockbuster when you were like 5, back when
Uh,
Blockbuster still existed,
yeah. Oh yeah.
and they would have the
Absolutely.
VHS selection of horror movies, and those VHS movies had just the craziest covers in terms of like horror movies,
Oh
Slumber
yeah.
Party Slaughter 3,
Like knives
just
and blood everywhere and like yeah, I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yes.
And I can't really think of, I mean, obviously they don't have anything like that anymore, but it feels like in the 80's, the slasher genre was much more popular. And then maybe the last 10 to 15 years, it more focuses on like the paranormal or the supernatural. Like there's a haunted house or there's a haunted girl or
Right. A
haunted
lot of
tricycle.
haunted. Haunted tricycle. Yeah, a haunted doll. I don't. Yeah. Anyway, you could
Exactly. Haunted doll
literally go
super
on
popular.
forever. Yeah.
Yeah. In Stephen King's Danse Macabre, he says that the fears that people have shift in general, and like it shifts with society. So in during the time when, like, you had the Cuban Missile Crisis and people were worried about radiation and things like that, oftentimes like the horror movies would focus on like radiation and like the possible effects, like, oh, it's a giant praying mantis. And you can see
Right.
that with, comic books too, right? What's the origin of the Hulk? Oh, well, he got irradiated. Well, we know, like, if you get irradiated, you're just gonna die.
You're
But I
not. Yeah.
guess,
You're not surviving. It's just
yeah,
instant.
at the time it was like something mysterious and crazy. So yeah, it's kind of interesting to see how the genre kind of like evolved and what's popular now versus the 80's and 90's. What do you guys think?
Yeah. No, I agree. Definitely. Well, I should say that some of my favorites do include like um supernatural horror
Hmm.
movies. I think there's only like I right before we started this, I was writing stuff down because earlier, Jeremy, you said that you had a list that you left at work, but then I was like, wait, I
Yeah.
didn't write any of this down. I probably should because I'm probably gonna forget about something. And I
Sluts
totally
don't
did.
prepare.
Yeah,
No way. No
yeah,
way.
no. I like to just, you know,
We
take it
fly
as it
by the
comes.
seat of our pants, except we're not
Exactly.
wearing pants.
Maybe, maybe not. Um, I yeah. I think there's only a couple that I think that I wrote down that include something like ghost related, like
Hmm.
ghosts or demon related. But other than that, they're usually like there's still obviously some sort of supernatural, like not of this world element, but not necessarily a ghost or a demon. But
I'll start off with my number one. Well, I wouldn't say number one, but I'll start off with like one of my favorite horror movies, and that would be The Shining. I really liked just the intro and the cinematography. Obviously, it's Kubrick, so like the cinematography is going to be awesome. But just like they're like winding their way up that mountain road, and the soundtrack was kind of synthy, like synthesized, which I really liked. And yeah, it's honestly, it has ghosts in it, which is kind of rare for King if you think about it. But
yeah, there's like Rose Red that's got ghosts in it. But you're right. You are correct as far as King goes and his like supernatural elements and stories that he's got. Yeah.
Yeah. And it just kind of focuses on that concept of isolation. So I'm trying to think. Yeah, that's I guess, one of the few books he has that really focuses on like the isolation form of horror where, you're trapped in this hotel basically with just your family. And then, what if someone goes mad? So that's just fascinating to me, that concept of like, you're isolated off from the rest of society. Like that kind of felt like the theme of that movie to me. So that would go on my list
totally.
of like top horror movies.
Yeah. Agreed.
I also, I love a good demon or supernatural creature, like horror movie or anything. Like, I love fantasy, but there's something very real and terrifying about any horror story that is, a potential situation occurring, like being isolated with somebody who goes crazy.
That could actually occur in real life. Yeah.
Yeah. And I really like that flavor of horror. One of the ones I was thinking about is one of those like could happen situations. But yeah, and another thing I really like about The Shining as a horror story movie, I've seen the movie, I haven't read the book, but that whole setting, like horror story, like the isolation. One of my favorite horror books is A House of Leaves, and it's about a house that has like a sinister quality to it. It's a little bit bigger than it is on the inside, and then a door appears, and that whole like you're stuck in the area, like regardless of the situation or how fantastical it becomes, like the main problem is I can't leave, and that's very relatable.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's very interesting.
Isn't that?
Oh wait, yeah, you were.
Isn't that kind of what
leaves.
happens?
Sorry, go ahead. I was. You said the leaves, and I was like, I've never heard that. And then I remember we talked about it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're you're fine. You're fine. Isn't that kind of what happens in Cujo, where they get isolated in the car to survive the rabid Saint Bernard?
There is. Oh, it's been a long time since I've seen Cujo, and it's actually been a long time since I've seen The Shining as well. But I am more familiar with The Shining. There is at least a portion of the movie where they are, or a person is stuck in the car. Yeah. But I don't remember for how long. But that's terrifying. I mean, and think about it, like a dog can go rabid and basically
I know.
become that. Yeah.
I was driving to work in my car this morning, and I was like, what would I do if there was like a rabid animal outside? Like, how would I get away from it, Like,
right. But you couldn't start the car because you didn't have keys, or or it was just a dead battery, or yeah.
And I guess that's like one of the reasons why horror is so popular and so universal, because you invariably put yourself in the position of the protagonist, and you're like,
Mhm.
what if that was me? What if I was in that situation? Like, how would I respond? Like, what would I do?
Right.
And I
Yeah,
think
totally.
that's something intrinsic to horror because, like, you want to put yourself into a fantasy situation. You want to put yourself into, like, something that's beautiful or clever or something that you want to, personify in your own life. But your brain chemistry makes you put yourself in horror because
Yeah,
the emotions that are invoked when you're reading it, like, literally causes your body to, like, start responding as if there's
right,
horror. And I
right.
think that's, I never thought about it before, how that's like a little trap that horror puts you in.
Yeah,
It makes me think of the whole so, somebody hears a weird noise in their dark house and they go to the weird noise and then it's just sitting there like yelling at the TV, "Don't, like, what are you doing? You're gonna die." It makes me think of that. You're still like, you want them to go because you want to put yourself in that situation, but also you're like, don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Jack Nicholson is terrifying.
Oh,
Yeah.
everything.
Just damn, he's so
Everything.
That obviously the "Where's Johnny?" Or "Here's Johnny" scene, and the crazed look on his face.
Yeah.
One the bathroom scene always sticks in my mind for The
Yeah.
Shining.
Yeah.
Because I think it was playing on TV when I was a kid at one point, and I wasn't necessarily paying attention to the movie, but I remember that scene and it terrified the crap out of me.
I
It's
yeah, same here because I swear I saw it maybe in college because I wanted to go through
Mhm.
all the Kubrick movies.
Mhm.
And even seeing it that long ago, uh like, over 10 years ago, it's like that particular scene in the bathroom was very visceral, where like that doesn't leave you. Like, you might forget other
No.
parts of the movie, but like
Yep.
you can't forget that scene.
Can't forget it.
Um yeah.
My favorite scene of The Shining is in Twister, when the tornado starts to rip through the one of the towns that they go to, kind of midpoint way in the movie, and it's playing on a like outside projector screen for a drive-in theater as the tornado comes through.
Oh.
I forgot
Gotcha.
about that movie. Twister. I forgot about that one. I remember liking that one as a kid.
I'm sorry I'm like
Yeah.
this.
No.
I
No,
actually
no.
watched Twister with a friend from Starbucks about a year ago now, and we made it into a drinking game. It's a
Is
good
it
time.
is it any good? Because my child brain thinks of it in a
I
positive light.
enjoyed it the second time around, but I got pretty
Okay.
drunk.
Okay.
So
I
there's also
haven't
that.
I mean, I haven't seen it since I was a kid, but I remember loving that movie as a kid, but I also have a
Yeah.
feeling that it's not nearly as good as my kid brain thought it was.
Man, Kid Brain made like every time I would go to see like a big summer blockbuster, my Kid Brain went crazy. I remember distinctly Jurassic Park. That was one that was huge.
Yes, one of my
Saw that.
favorite movies. Just I think in
Independence
general.
Day. Independence Day was another one
Great
where it was
movie.
just like, you have to see this.
So
And
good.
yeah, and you're just, whatever age, I guess, what is that, 7? And you're just like, yes, this
Something
is
like that, yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, to be fair though, those two are still just also great movies. You watch them now and they're both great movies.
That's
It's not just
true.
kid brain thought.
Yeah.
Independence Day is one of my first like interactions with what I would consider like horror and like film and cinema in my childhood, because I
Yeah.
remember when they opened the carcass, or like the
Yeah.
exoskeleton, and the
Mhm.
like sound it made freaked me the
Mm-hmm.
fuck out. And
Oh yeah.
I was like in love, but also like I was in love with the movie and I watched it over and over again, but I was terrified of that part.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, that's when you know it's good is you're terrified of it, but you
Yep.
want to
You
watch
still
more of
want to
it.
watch it?
You
Yeah.
want to rewatch it even the part that terrifies you. Yeah, it's great.
Isn't
I'm
there
kind
one?
of. Oh,
Oh,
go ahead.
go ahead. Well, isn't there one part where Data was played by, was it Brent Spiner, and he plays like the scientist in Independence Day, and then doesn't the alien get a hold of him and then start like working his vocal cords with its tentacles to make him talk?
That's
And
sounding vaguely familiar. It has been a long
Yeah,
time since I've seen it.
that's right
But
after
yeah.
That's that same scene. Yeah,
Okay.
peace, no peace.
yes, when the alien forces the scientist to say that and uses him as like a vessel to deliver that message. Yeah, I mean, I never thought of Independence Day being horror related in any way, but Thomas is absolutely correct. Like
Yeah.
that scene in
If
particular. Yeah.
if I remember correctly, it's got some like comedy parts to it as well,
Yep.
right? At least that's how I remember Independence Day.
Yeah.
But I think even though a movie maybe has some funny or even if it's marketed as kind of supposed to be funny, it can still be horror,
Yeah.
because
Evil Dead.
there can be parts that also scare you about it, like that one
Yeah.
scene. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So, Thomas, what would be one of your top horror movies?
So I think I'm going to say a show. I was going to say another one that was a real life situation, but my favorite one, the one that impressed me the most, is Netflix's Haunting of Hill House.
Oh,
Holy shit. That
That
is
one
the
is
best
so good.
horror
Oh, I didn't even think. I wasn't even
anything I've
thinking about
seen
TV
on
shows.
like TV or film.
oh, okay.
I'm
I
literally getting goosebumps like just mentioning it. Like I
I
love Haunting
was
of Hill House.
thinking about Hill House and Bly Manor just the other day. And I love both of those. I think Hill House is probably superior still, but I mean Bly Manor is like really awesome as well.
It was still very good.
Both of those are so good. Yep.
Have you seen it, Jeremy?
No,
Oh,
no. Is that
super
Oh, you
recommend.
gotta watch it. Yeah.
Okay, so I think it's the second episode, there's a scene where a
yeah,
character is speaking to her children about death.
yeah,
And it's so awkward. And you're like, she hasn't been a bad actor up until now. Like, what is up with this conversation she's having with her
yeah,
kids?
Hmm.
You find out, like, if you catch it, you catch it. But I'm spoiling this one bit, but it's just a little hook.
Go ahead. Go
She
ahead.
is repeating what her sister tells her to say in that situation. Because you see a flashback, the timing in it's very staggered in a wonderful way that's easily understood.
Yeah,
But you see a conversation, I think it's episode 3, with her and her sister, where she says, like, what do I say to my kids when they talk about, like, this person passing away? And her sister's like real hard, like, tell them, like, this is like the situation, and we don't have all the answers. And so you realize she sounds awkward talking to her kids because she's like filtering it through the advice that her sister gave her. It's just such a clutch
Yeah, and
show.
she
There's
still
so
doesn't know
many
how to say it,
treats.
so she's just reiterating words that somebody else said.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
it's just such a good show. There's so many
It's
things, and
great.
the horror in it is just phenomenal.
Uh,
There's
I'm
so much
thinking
subtlety.
of that
Go ahead.
the car scene. The two of the sisters are in the car and
Oh,
they're driving to the house. If you know what I'm talking about.
mm-hmm. I sure do.
And what happens? Scared the shit out of me.
oh
Man,
man.
there's so many things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch that one too. Guys, I have
So
so
it's
many so many things to rewatch. I'm excited.
the haunting of Hill House.
That's the
Got it.
first. That was the first season written by or directed or whatever by I don't know the people's names. I think
Hmm.
it's like what is the series called? It's called like I'm gonna have to look it up. But the second season is The Haunting of Bly Manor.
Oh, okay.
But made by the same people, but a different story. And then the third one is.
Oh, there's a third one? I didn't know that.
It is a sort of a departure. I mean, it's still the same kind of feel to it, but it's not like The Haunting of whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to look it up. Let's see. Okay, so it's just called the Haunting Anthology series. So every season is like, a different story, a different haunting, basically. But Hill House was the first one.
Another thing that I really love about Hill House is if you pay attention and if you follow along, every single haunting, every single ghost, like just about, like there's a few like ambiguous things in the background that you're like, the house is just being a little fucky right now. But every consistent haunting is explained. There's a story involved. There's
you're
like an
right.
NPC that you learn about.
Yep.
NPC.
Interesting.
There's a character that you like didn't like quite see that's like in the history here. It's all so succinct, and I really like it when a story can show and not tell and not like espouse or make it obvious, but all the content's still there. That's something that happens a lot. Is a lot of times we're left with a lot of questions in an unsatisfying way in certain stories. Nothing's coming to mind right now, but Haunting of Hill House answers those questions and still like leaves mystery and the knowledge that like, oh, if this happened here, like what could be happening in other families and other lives and other places.
Yeah.
That is a good choice. Huh.
Maybe I was wrong about a third season. I thought that was related. Okay, anyway, sorry. I don't want to go too off topic here.
I think it's oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm thinking of Midnight Mass and the Midnight Club. They're both of those are not in the Haunting anthology, but they were made by the same guy who like created it, directed it, wrote it.
Yeah, I want to see everything he touches.
Yeah.
Oh, I just thought of another movie. Okay, sorry guys.
Anyway. Okay.
I think it's Christy's
getting off
turn.
topic here.
I think it's Christy's turn.
Oh, okay. Ooh, I don't know. Excuse me. I think I'm gonna have to. I wouldn't. It's hard to pick up. Like this is my number one favorite, but I think I'm just gonna mention this one because it's a classic to me, and it's also got some funny parts. Tremors. Have you guys ever seen that? With Kevin Bacon, the original one, by the way, just because there's like. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
it is not.
Absolutely.
It doesn't necessarily have your typical horror movie, sinister, dark, like, looking around the corner and a jump scare type horror movie. But it's definitely got monsters and it's got Kevin Bacon and it's also funny.
Oh man.
But there is just trying to find out what the monster is because you don't see it at first. They don't reveal it too quickly. It's one of my favorites. I used to, every time that came on TV, I would watch it.
Little kid brain loved that movie when I was 8 and watching it on VHS.
You should go rewatch it because it's still great.
I kind of want to watch it. It's one of Justin's favorites.
Oh yeah.
And it also has Reba McEntire as well. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I had no idea.
Reba McEntire and Kevin Bacon. Such a random people to be in that. But
my favorite scene as a child was when the giant worm creature tries to break into that guy's basement and he's like your typical Texas redneck gun collector, and I think he's got about
Oh yeah, he's a whole
300
arsenal.
He's ready.
Yeah, he's
And-
got like a compound, and it's like concrete walls surrounding it underneath in the ground, and then he's got like a whole arsenal inside. Oh yeah, it's amazing.
What's the line? You broke into the wrong basement or something like that.
It's something like that. Oh man, I think the character's name is Bert, and that's the guy that his girlfriend is Reba in the first one. Yeah.
Okay.
So they're together
Very
in the
interesting.
bunker. It's hilarious.
That's awesome.
I don't remember like individual scenes as much. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I remember when I first watched it, which was on a vacation to see my grandparents in Florida in the middle of summer, and it was so fucking hot in their house. I was dying. I couldn't sleep. So I just had the TV on it, and lo and behold, I got to watch Tremors for the first time, and it was one of the best and kind of like one of the more unique, like I'm alone watching something, especially like I know my parents, like when I was a kid, they were a little bit more zealous in Christianity than they've kind of like, become as they've become more discerning adults. But horror movies were super taboo. So for me to come across that,
yeah,
I remember that very well.
Okay. Yeah. I love that.
It's
Go ahead.
I guess it's my turn next. So I had written down Scream. So the first Scream movie.
I've never seen any of the Screams. I know. Yeah, I know.
What?
Yeah. Feeling.
I know.
Wait, what?
Make you look at the phone. Well, not phones nowadays because they don't make sound usually. But
yeah.
We may have to turn hot cinema slut review into hot like watching
Scream.
Scream
Scream.
episode.
Wait, yeah, like we may have to watch Scream next episode because
do it.
Wes Craven. I mean, it's Wes Craven. Like
yeah.
I
don't know why. There was no reason. There's so many. There are a ton of also classic horror movies that I've never seen. So,
it's also worth watching just to appreciate. Oh, what's the spoof movie? The spoof series that
Scary Movie with
Scary
like the
Movie. It's
movie.
worth watching Scream to better appreciate Scary Movie.
That's fair. And to be fair, I've also never seen Scary Movie. So.
Oh no.
Yeah.
My reason for choosing Scream as putting it up there, not necessarily as like, number one or number two, but definitely one of the top horror movies that stands out for me is it felt like it could happen. Like it could very easily happen. I was watching this kid stand trial, and I think he was like 15, and they were gonna put him away for life, and he this is all real, like this actually happened, and the judge is describing how he stabbed this girl like over 100 times, and lured her into this secluded spot, and the judge is trying to like get into the mind of this 15-year-old, like, why did you do this? Why did you commit this like random act of violence? And like the 15-year-old's brain was like, I wanted to know what it was like to kill someone. I wanted to know what that felt like. And you see court cases like that, and you see trials and just travesties in real life, and then you look at Scream and you're like, that could literally happen to me. Like that's not fantastical. That's not a ghost. Right. That's not,
man, especially through the lens of modern day, like people are crazy, people go into schools to shoot. That like makes the terror.
Yeah. Definitely.
So that's why I made my list. I got very grim and dark there, I know.
No, but
I didn't help.
Grim and dark things though. A lot of horror movies have some dark elements to it. It's not always funny like Tremors.
Tremors. I brought the mood down. Thomas, what is your next choice?
I'm gonna make it weird.
Oh, I like it.
I already mentioned, and I've talked about it before, but I grew up a little Christian boy, Southern Baptist, well, Baptist. And the first time I saw The Ninth Gate, I felt like I was sitting the way I wanted to.
Interesting.
Like the whole demons and the church and a ancient tome and a treasure hunt through like historical archaeology to find church Satan secrets. I mean, it blew my mind when I was a kid. Like it
Satan
really
secrets.
did. Like I remember seeking it out later on and being like, I want to find that movie again. I saw it on vacation. We were on a vacation in Florida and I saw it on TV.
Nice.
Weird that happened.
All
twice.
your horror movies.
I wasn't at grandma's house though. We were at a hotel. But it was also like I couldn't sleep. It was Florida, it was hot as fuck. I stayed up late and saw The Ninth Gate on TV, and I was like, "Who's Johnny Depp? Like, what is this? Is the church really hiding secrets? I know demons are real because I'm a good Christian."
Yeah.
And The Ninth Gate was as far as how good it actually is. I don't know. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I remember it being very impressionable, like it being powerful to my young mind.
Yeah.
Have you all seen it?
I never have. No, I never have.
Yeah, Johnny
But I
Depp
would like
learns
to.
church secrets in a weird way. It's cool.
Maybe let me look it up. Maybe I've seen pieces of it.
I feel like this is another one you have to see because it sounds so fascinating.
It does, yeah.
And it's not any
Okay, no,
big time monsters coming out and killing things outright. It's a lot more psychological and
okay. That was
but yeah,
Roman
it's a good time.
Polanski. Interesting. Okay.
Oh, really?
Directed by Roman Polanski.
Interesting.
Well, going off of demons.
There's a Justin.
Ah, hello.
Hey, Justin. I like your robe.
Christy's first favorite horror movie was Tremors.
Good one. It's very it's very nostalgic for me at this point. So yeah, I will definitely watch horror movies and enjoy ones that include demons and whatnot, but they typically aren't my favorite ones. So like The Exorcist is a classic, right? I've seen it once, but you know, it was good, but it also, well, no, I shouldn't say that. There were parts that scared me, but it is like a 70s movie, early 70s, I think. So, but when The Conjuring came out, genuinely loved that one.
Yeah, I think I saw that one in theater.
It's very good. It's also a demon. Well, no, there's probably more than one. I can't remember, but it was just very well done, I thought, and it's been a long time since I've seen it. Like any horror movie, which makes me sad. It definitely doesn't have any of the Ninth Gate sounds more interesting in that he's discovering these secrets and whatever. So that's super cool. I love that. There's a little bit of mystery to it almost. The Conjuring doesn't have any of that. It's just your classic someone's possessed and they try to exorcise them basically. But I like the story. The way that they tell it in the story is very good, and it is genuinely scary. Yeah, that's my next one.
Interesting.
That I would put in there. None of these are rated. I shouldn't say rated in any particular order for me, at least. But
yeah, mine has no ranking. I'm just like, yeah, I'm just throwing it out. Like, no ranking whatsoever. It's just, these are my thoughts. These are like, films that made an impact on me. It's funny because I remember after work, Chrissy was talking about how she hadn't seen like a horror movie in like a decade or something like that. And
pretty much. Yeah.
That kind of like triggered something in my brain. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a genre of movies.
Oh, what? Yeah.
And
I mean, I guess I've seen, like, I've watched TV shows and whatnot. Like, you could almost consider The Last of Us even horror.
Oh yeah.
In some ways.
True.
Yeah.
Or like the Haunting of Hill House and Bly Manor. I've watched those, but
yeah.
Anyway, movies that have come out in theaters, yeah, I haven't really watched any in probably a decade. So
dang, that like sparked something in my mind, and it's just for whatever reason, horror wasn't something that I had seen for honestly like quite a while. So I was like, let me look up some of the current movies that are popular, and so I just saw this like a month ago, and it's called It Follows. So it's just called.
I haven't see that's one. I know it's one that came out in the last decade, and I heard that it was really good. And
yeah, me too.
Extremely good.
Want to watch it? I think.
Extremely good. And what's so fascinating about it is the concept is extremely simple. It's not a complex idea whatsoever. It doesn't even explain what it is. It's ironically, like, obviously this is a trope in horror movies, but it's passed on by having sex with somebody. So there's this innocent girl that is, dating this guy. This isn't really a spoiler. This all happens within the first 5-10 minutes. And that's how you pass it on to someone. And he basically gives her a warning, and he's like, I passed it on to you. Now you're cursed. Now it's going to follow you. Be careful, because it can take on the shape or the form or the image of anybody you know. And that's it. That's the whole movie. So it's chasing people. It can look like
clever. That's terrifying. Yeah.
I know.
That is terrifying.
I know. It could be your mom who's like right next to you, but maybe your mom's acting a little weird, or it could be the mailman.
Gosh,
following a little too closely. It could be your teacher. It could be the person that's 4 people back in the line at Kroger, and just that 1 or 2 sentence synopsis. That's all you need, and you're like sucked into the movie. And
totally.
Just loved it.
That's like just as good as the whole Freddy Krueger, like you fall asleep and you know about him. Like,
yes,
right.
There you
like,
go.
Yes.
Like it's so
you're
scary because it's always present.
You're gonna dream, and that's terrifying. It kind of makes
such a good synopsis. It's really cool.
Think a little bit of, it's definitely not the same, but it's similar to what is it, Bird Box, I think.
Oh yeah.
Is that what that's called? Bird Box?
Bird Box. Yeah, Bird Box.
Where you have that, again, you don't know what the thing is, but if whoever looks at it is, and I think I've only seen the movie, and because I know it's a book too, so I've never read the book, but at least in the movie, it seems like it's sort of implied that whatever they're seeing is the thing that you fear the most, I guess, and then it kills you. I guess you die of fear. I can't quite remember, but so you don't, like, nobody knows what this thing is, but you can't look at it. But it's always around, basically. So if you open your eyes and you look at it, that's it. You're dead.
That scene with
terrifying.
Sarah Paulson driving Sandra Bullock. when she sees it, I think about that like once a week.
I
Like,
do too.
such insane.
When I was describing it, that was the exact scene I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Where
What
she's
the
driving.
fuck
and,
is that?
yeah.
You're like, what is it? Oh
I
my
don't
god.
know.
You're driving.
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't she see it? Is Sarah Paulson the one that's driving and she sees it in the rearview mirror? Isn't that what happens?
I can't remember if it's like the rear view or like out ahead at the horizon line. I'm not sure.
Yeah. It's either one. And Sandra Bullock's like sitting in the back seat or something, I think, or I don't know, in the passenger seat. Yeah. I always think of that scene too. Anyway. Yeah, that is terrifying. Okay. I need to watch
Yeah, it's
that
called
one.
It Follows. I gotta write
It
that down,
Follows.
'cause that sounds really good.
Yeah, it sounds so good. I love that. It's always the unknown is terrifying too.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what it is. I don't know, but it follows.
There's a series of demons in the Harry Dresden books. He's like a wizard living in Chicago in modern day, and it's his adventures. And you find out in the first book that he's cursed by this demon called He Who Walks Behind, and he's like a extra spatial like creature. You don't know much about him, but that he might be a demon. That his realm of influence is like positioning towards his target. And the other versions of him, like his fellow demonkin, are called the walkers. And there's he who walks before and he who walks beside. And that's the way they pursue their like prey. And like that concept, it reminds me of that whole like
I love that.
It Follows, like it could be anybody and it passes like through this like very simple way.
Right.
Yeah, cool concept.
That's cool. That is a cool concept.
I like that.
Have y'all, my next one is, I kind of want to base it on what y'all have seen. Have y'all seen Midsummer?
I have not.
I think I have. Does the little boy like get decapitated by like he gets decapitated by like a pole?
I don't think
Am
so.
I thinking of something totally different?
I think you're
Is
thinking
it a
totally
relatively
different.
Oh, okay, yeah. It came out in 2019.
It's relatively new. Y'all should definitely watch that, because that movie's awesome. Such a good horror story. But y'all seen The Village, right?
Yes.
I
Village is great.
love The Village. One of my favorite movies of all time. Those creatures are so scary.
They are
Red
terrifying.
robes with spikes became a standard for what I create, like evil characters in my D&D worlds. Like that's like.
But also the fact again that basically could happen. It's not like those were actual real monsters. They were just people in costumes trying to scare the other villagers. And, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
That could be us. We could be the people in the costumes.
Oh, wait, time out. We gotta follow this rabbit. Are you suggesting that we can village some group of people?
Hey, think about the views on YouTube. Think about the YouTube views that we would get.
I love it. It's what I was born to do.
That's the next Mr. Beast video. Mr. Beast, I villaged a bunch of people.
I want to village someone. Make it happen with your millions. Please. It's my dying wish. I'm going to village someone.
Wow.
Christie's, what's your next selection?
All right. Well, you said The Village. So Signs.
Oh. Good old M. Night.
I think that's probably my favorite M. Night movie. Of his. So obviously this one is. Have you seen it, Jeremy?
Oh yeah.
Okay, you have. And Thomas, you've seen it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Obviously this is definitely more supernatural, but look, come on. If anybody says that aliens don't exist, you're just dumb. I'm not the kind of person who's like, Area 51 and like aliens watch us, but come on, the universe is huge.
Yeah, you can't deny the possibility at the very least. That's got to be the bottom of the barrel.
Whether or not whatever other life is out there knows about us, I don't know. But, the universe is so large, there's no way we're the only living things in it. But it's aliens, and So I love this one because one, the music is fantastic. Obviously a soundtrack in a horror movie is gonna kind of maybe I shouldn't say make or break a movie, but you've got that soundtrack that goes with it that just sort of amps up the fear, you know? To this day, that movie still scares me. I always think about the scene where it's like the kids in Brazil or whatever, that video that they're playing on the news, of kids celebrating some birthday party in Brazil, and they're like rushing to a window to look out on the street, and it's like the first sighting you get of the alien, and it just like is like walking, and it like looks, and then it pauses. It's so scary. That's one of my favorite moments because it's the first time you see it.
Yeah.
But I think you spend so much of the movie not actually seeing any of the aliens themselves. Maybe I think you only see it's in that video that was played on the news, and then other than that, it's just like
The very end.
a hand or a finger or something, or until like the very end when it's in their house and they're trying to kill it. Yeah, I think that's one of my favorites for sure.
I have a follow-up question for that.
Uh-huh.
Have you seen Ridley Scott's, I think it's Ridley Scott's Prometheus?
I have. I very much enjoyed
Prometheus was terrifying, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was very scary. I liked that one a lot. It also kind of follows this not the same story, but the same idea, the same sort of aliens as Alien.
Yeah.
Alien is one of my favorites as well.
Yeah.
Alien.
The original Alien with Sigourney Weaver's in like first 2 or 3.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
But that one is such a slow build the whole way through.
Yeah.
It's great. I did like Prometheus a lot.
Okay.
Nice. This may be ignorant. Is the leading actress in Prometheus the same one as The Village? Are they the same person?
No, that's
No.
Numi. I don't know how to say your last name. But she's like the Swedish actress who was in the original like Girl with a Dragon Tattoo movies.
Oh, okay. Those are good too. Not horror.
But... Those are really good, but not horror, yeah.
My next selection, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, not when I think they've redone it like 1 trillion times now, but the original from 1974.
See, that's a
don't think
that's
I've
a
ever
classic
seen that one.
That's a classic one I've never seen. And need to, obviously.
It gives you a fear of rural areas.
Yeah.
As you're like driving through South Georgia, you're like, I hope I don't break down, and then this turns into Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Great. Yeah.
And, like, you kind of just like, you have, like Thomas pointed out, that really simple concept of don't fall asleep, otherwise you're gonna die. Or you have the very simple concept of it's following you. It can be anything that it wants. I feel like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like, even when you're 8 or 9 and you first hear about it, it like grabs your attention, like it grabs your imagination, like, oh, there's a guy killing people with a chainsaw. That's so gross, but I want to see it. Like, what is that all about?
And also, like, that might be happening somewhere right now.
Exactly.
Right.
In the middle of nowhere.
That's all you need to sell the concept. And obviously, it taps into some sort of fear that people have because it's been remade how many times now?
So, yeah, I'm actually just looking it up because I'm curious.
Yeah.
So there's apparently 4 4 movies that are in like a series going off of the original one, because there's like 2, 3, and then the next generation, so 4. Texas
my
Chainsaw
goodness.
Texas
Massacre,
Chainsaw the next generation.
Yeah, that sounds so silly. That's such a silly name for, what is it, Star Trek?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking of too. It's like, is
Texas
Patrick
Chainsaw
Stewart
Massacre
in it?
in space. But then there's another Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 2003. It's also a Michael Bay film too.
What?
And there's like an 2006, which looks like a sequel to the Michael Bay one. Then there's Texas Chainsaw 3D. What?
Oh my god.
Better than 4D. Get it?
And then there's Leather. There's one, I don't think I heard about this one. Leatherface. It came out in 2017. And then a 2022 Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The wiki on the original is fascinating. Apparently,
Yeah, I pulled it up.
it's been reviewed by critics, scholars.
Scholars.
It's been quoted as the ultimate pro-vegetarian film due to animal rights themes. Film critic Rob Ager describes the irony in humans being slaughtered for meat and then putting humans in the position of being slaughtered like farm animals. This is fascinating.
Hilarious. Writer-director
fascinating.
Guillermo del Toro became a vegetarian for a time after seeing the film.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm just
Love
now
Guillermo
seeing
del
that.
Toro.
Interesting.
The
Huh.
wiki is huge. Like
It
this
is a giant wiki. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Apparently, the primary filming location was at a 1900s farmhouse located in Round Rock, which is like outside Dallas.
We should go.
Let's do it. They have a picture of it.
Race you there.
Oh, wait. They moved the original house. I think that's what it says. Well, anyway.
You can visit sorry for this tangent, but
No,
obviously a lot of Stranger Things was filmed here in Georgia.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I
And
didn't think about that.
the Hawkins School, so the Hawkins School, it actually still says like Hawkins all over it, and you can look through the glass and see like the set for that last season that they just did, and they have security that's just driving around patrolling in a car because so many people went to go see the Hawkins School.
Oh.
And same all the characters, they had their houses, and you can go and drive and see the houses that all the characters lived in, and there's these giant signs, and the giant signs say like private residence, stay out, don't come here, don't take pictures, da, da, da.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to me.
That's
That is
super cool.
fascinating.
I know the one location that you can't see anymore is the lab because they tore that down.
Oh.
Not Stranger Things, but like Atlanta.
The lab where they
the Hawkins
filmed,
lab.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because Bo and I were driving in the air. This was like a few weeks ago, but we were driving in the area where the Hawkins lab is in Atlanta. And I was like, I'm pretty sure it's around here somewhere. So I was like Googling whatever, and it was like, oh yeah, they tore it down in like 2022 or something like that. I was like, ah, bummer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Which makes me sad because I wanted to see it.
Oh.
It's a cool building. It's very nondescript but it's the Hawkins lab. It's okay then.
Huh. I want to say the outside of the lab from like season 1 is like either like the Emory campus.
It might be
like,
yeah, I don't think it's necessarily the same thing from the first season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that may be true.
Hmm.
At least the lab, maybe I guess from season 2, is it? Because isn't Will like he stays in the lab for a bit? He's like in
Yeah.
there. I think. I don't know.
Because he had like the upside down inside of him.
Inside of him, the upside down monster inside of him. What do they call that?
Mind Flayer, was that season?
The mind flayer. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, that sounds
Anyway. That sounds right to me.
good.
Somebody's gonna come in the comments and be like, "Y'all aren't real fans."
Fake.
Fake Stranger Things fans.
Did you have another selection?
Yeah, go ahead.
Me? Would American Horror Story season 3 count? Because
Yeah, I think so.
I loved it
Those are
so
definitely-
much. I've watched that show, that season, so many times.
Which one
Oh,
is
really?
that? Is
That's
that the
Coven. That's the witches.
Okay, I was gonna say, is that the which one? Okay. I can't remember if I finished that season.
I love magic.
Don't think
That's
I
a thing about me.
No, I've always liked.
I love those
Witch and
naughty
Coven
witches,
type stuff.
just fucking shit up left and right. Like, it was great.
I'm pretty sure at least I watched up to that season, and then I haven't seen anything after season 3. I know that for a fact. But
I
that would
submit
count.
American
definitely
Horror Story season 3. I will
like it.
probably watch it again within the next year because I love it so much.
Oh wow.
Well, then I need to rewatch it. I think
It's
I've only
not all good, but I like it.
Yeah. No, but that's what this is about. You like it though. I need to rewatch that one. At least the first 3 seasons, because I remember that first season was good.
I still haven't seen the first season.
Oh, okay, you should watch it.
I've seen the second season. Asylum was excellent and chilling.
Asylum was very good. The first one it's in that, what is that one called? Is it just called American Horror Story?
I think so.
And it's in like some old, like 1920s LA house or something. Yeah, no, that counts though.
All right.
There's 11 seasons?
Yeah, I just saw the announcement
What?
for like the
Really?
11th season, like starting soon, I think, and I thought, holy crap, what?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I think in this new season they have Kim Kardashian in it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
The true horror.
That's the true horror, because it's real life. And it
I regret submitting this as my option, even though I love American Horror Story.
But you said season 3 though.
I was in on the ground floor. Is that what people say? That's not it.
Is it the ground floor? Isn't that the same? No.
I started the race at the beginning. I
started the race at the beginning.
Jumped in the first hopscotch square.
I came in on the ground. I think that's right. I came in on the ground floor of that. I don't know. It sounds right.
You were at ground zero before Kim Kardashian.
Before that.
Oh, man.
I also really like crap, what's her name? She's in at least the first few seasons.
Khloe Kardashian.
No. Oh, Jessica. I wanted to say Angela Lang, and I was like, that's not right.
Jessica Lange? Yeah,
Jessica
she's
Lange.
phenomenal. I want to see
love
everything
her,
she's in.
just in general. She's not in all horror movies, but that's getting off topic, I guess. But she's great.
All right. Do we have time for one more for Christy's?
We have time for
selection?
one more. We're coming near the end of the hour, so this will be the last one. And we're up to number, I don't know.
I have no clue. I've not been counting. I have said 3, and I'm about to say 4. So oh wait, no, I'm about to say 5 because I talked about science too. The original Halloween.
Oh yeah.
I also do okay, so there's been, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there's been so many versions of Halloween. And there was also at least one sequel to the original Halloween, I think. But my favorite of all of, well, I've not seen all of them, but my favorite is the original Halloween. And then I do very much enjoy the first Rob Zombie adaptation of Halloween.
Oh.
But the original one is still better, superior. That one, you could make a case for that one happening in real life. You know, he's not a monster. He's just a guy that breaks out of an asylum and then goes on a murdering
Goes about
rampage.
his business.
Yeah, you know. Oh, okay. And then the theme. It's a classic.
Oh yeah. I love that theme.
I remember my
so
cousins playing it on piano at her house when I was a kid.
It's so simple. It's almost like the Jaws theme, where except the Jaws theme is like 2 notes.
Yeah.
But it's just really
It's
simple.
3 notes, but that's okay.
So, is it?
The first two were made by John Carpenter, right? John Carpenter, I want to say, made the first one and the second one, because I remember the first one was very good, and then the second one was very good.
Yeah, the second one is good. It's not as good to me. Of course,
Yeah.
I Google Halloween and it pulls up, you know, like.
Is that all you typed in?
October 31st Halloween. Okay. You're correct. So the original is John Carpenter. I know there's franchise. Oh my gosh, there's 13 Halloween films.
Oh no.
Then there's, okay, so no, John Carpenter, the only one that he did is the first one.
What? Really?
Well, okay, so I take it back, as a director, but he was a
okay.
screenwriter for 1 and 2, but not a director.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's I can't tell if these belong. There's at least 5 Halloweens. It's like a continuation.
Yeah, this is confusing because the wiki says
it is confusing.
Halloween 2 directed by Rick Rosenthal. And then you're right, written and produced by John Carpenter. Okay. So that's
and he produced. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I see.
But then there's like Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, Halloween 4, Return of Michael Myers, Halloween 5, Revenge of Michael Myers, and then it goes into Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, but not Halloween 6, The Curse of it's. So I don't know if that's a continuation or just a new take on it. Then there's Halloween H2O 20 H20. Maybe it's supposed to be H20.
Halloween
for 20 years. For 20 years later. Oh jeez, I don't know. And then Halloween Resurrection, and then Rob Zombie did his. I think I've seen both Rob Zombies, but the first one is better.
I remember watching the first one and being like really enjoying it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. I thought he did a really great job. And there's some other Rob Zombie films that I enjoy. He's a weird dude, but he's got some good horror films.
He made amazing music as well. In my opinion.
Really? I didn't even know he. Oh wait, no, I did know that. I just don't think I've ever
Dragula? Living Dead Girl?
No, I totally forgot.
You haven't listened to Rob Zombie's music?
No. I take it back. I have. I completely forgot that he also makes music. That I don't know. It's like I didn't know that until you brought it up. You're totally right.
You had dealt with it already, and here we are.
Yeah, I completely forgot that even was a thing that he also does.
The horror movie director that also makes music on the side.
Yeah. You know, no big deal.
Oh man.
Anyway,
I wanted
yep.
to point one thing out.
Mhm.
In Halloween 2, Michael Myers was played by an actor named Dick Warlock.
That's
What a
about
good name.
like the kind of name that we would see at work and then show everybody.
If my name wasn't Thomas, I might go for Dick Warlock.
Dick Warlock.
That would bring me great joy. I feel like I would have ended up very similar. Like, do you ever think about how if you had a different name, how you'd be a totally different person? I feel like I'd be real close to who I am today if I was named Dick Warlock.
You would still be really close to who you are. Yeah, that's a great name.
Hats off to that guy.
Yeah, hats off to his parents. I mean, they were
Dick
thinking that
Warlocks.
through. It is. Yeah, you're right.
And there's also in the film a Billy Warlock.
Any relation?
It has to be.
I mean, how many warlocks are there, right? They
The
can't
trying
be.
profession.
Exactly. And that's the perfect way to end the episode.
Love it.
For the next episode, depending on how much reading gets done, we may do another top 15 or just watch Scream and Tremors.
I'm totally cool with watching Scream.
Or either one of those. I'm down for either one of those.
Yeah. All right, cool. Bye, subscribers.
Bye, sluts.
Everybody.
Make good choices.
Bye.